美国时事通，我是罗文。
今天是2025年3月6号星期四。那我昨天有分析了川普的这个我们叫他国情咨文的这么一个演讲哈，我看到有一些留言就说你们个人崇拜什么的，把他捧得像神一样哈。我觉得我们并没有把他捧得像神一样，我们只是在叙述他为美国所做的这一切，并且是美国人欣赏的这一切哈。那当然你有不同的价值观没有问题，但是如果说我们在造神的话，我觉得非常非常的遗憾，你们在生命中没有碰到这么一个伟大的人物，或者说即使你们碰到了，你们也不知道他是什么状况哈，非常非常的遗憾。对于很多根本都没有见过有伟大人物的人来讲，看我们的视频就是似乎是不可与夏虫语冰，我们怎么样跟夏虫谈兵的问题呢？没有办法，对不起，很抱歉您的想法是这样的，也很抱歉您没有在您的生命中遇到这么伟大的一个人。那当然川普是一个伟大的总统，那必须要有一个伟大的团队哈，所以 Elon Musk 是相当于他的强有力的支持者和帮手。那我们知道 Elon Musk 查了很多腐败的金额出来，然后他昨天甚至跟参议员们开了一个会，就说在讨论怎么样用法律的形式把他的成果定下来。那本身自己也说，他说这个清查政府的腐败、浪费和欺诈其实并不是需要一个好像你是福尔摩斯，他说这个工作比很多人想象的要容易得多哈。因为他们用的是这个大数据，我曾经看过一些技术人士的分析哈，就是他们完全用的是大数据，像 AI 的模式，它很快就可以从你的电脑里抓取你所有的数据，然后整合出来，马上就可以得出结论哈。不像以前你可能要查这么大规模的，不管是哪个部门，政府部门涉及到100亿、1000亿的这个预算或者审计的话，你可能要很多的人手去做哈，要做10年可能也做完。对于他来讲，他要有一个100人的 team， 然后有大数据 AI 技术去抓取这些数据，对他来讲是易如反掌的事哈。所以这就是为什么这个职位除了马斯克还非其他人不可。那当然所有的高技奇才都可以用到这个地方来，但是他们不愿意，好像不管是扎克伯格还是其他的像贝索斯，他们也有自己的人才库，或者其他的这些 AI， 他们不愿意做这个事，他们为什么要做这个事？对他们没什么好处。但是对于全球首富的马斯克，也是这个从南非逃来的马斯克，他深刻的体会到这是他最后一个家园，如果美国也堕落下去，没有地方可以逃了哈，这就是他的一个宗旨。他曾经发过一个南非的白人的一个告白哈，大家都知道南非的白人是受黑人歧视的哈，他说他们的这个土地都可以毫无理由的被政府攫取，或者是被任何一个力量攫取，你都没有地方去申诉哈。所以他远离南非来到了美国，他不想丧失这样的自由哈。美国是全世界可能最自由最好的一个国家，这才有这么多移民要过来哈。那如果美国都沉沦了，都失去了我们最后的一个乐土的话，你往哪里逃？你没有地方可逃的。这是为什么2020年很多从古巴还有从社会主义中国还有其他国家来的人要支持川普的一个原因，就是说你必须要防止这个美国沦落下去，激进左派的推进搞得大家互相内斗，最后我们丧失这最后一片自由土地。那如果真的是这样的话，不仅拜登、哈里斯，而且我们也会成为历史的罪人哈，因为我们没有去阻止他，就是这么简单哈。Elon Musk 之所以深刻的体会到，并且冒着暗杀的生命的危险去做这个事，我觉得他就是这么想的，因为这是他不可以丧失的一个土地了，他没有另外的地方可以去了哈。那美国人民也是支持他的哈，有民调为证。那 CNN 的分析员都已经 shock 了，他觉得很震惊哈。根据 CBS YouGov 的民调，美国有超过半数的，就是大多数美国人都支持DOGE去控制政府的开销。那这个跟民主党宣传的说，这个美国人民不愿意川普或者是DOGE去插手政府的国会通过的这个预算，完全是两个概念。这就是民意，我们可以看一下。
This to me was one of the more shocking figures that I saw. Made me go, wait a minute, hold on one second. Whoa, Americans on Trump and Joe's efforts. Musk and DOGE should influence government spending and operations. Look at this. 54%. The majority say that he and they should. How about approve of Trump trying to cut staff at government agencies? Again, you get a majority here. 51%. So yeah, Elon Musk might not be that popular, But these cuts and the idea of spending cuts, at least within the federal government and cutting at government agencies, that actually has majority support. I was truly surprised by this, Kate, but the numbers are the numbers.
Well, there is a view that cuts across Democrat and Republican of people thinking that Washington is too big, bloated federal government, waste, fraud, and abuse. I mean, those are drain the swamp is what people run on over and over again. How do they feel? What do they think they're actually cutting?
Yeah, what do they think they're actually cutting? Democrats want to argue that the type of spending that Musk is cutting is mainly necessary programs, but that comes in at just 36%. The wasteful spending actually wins the plurality here at 42%, according to a recent Washington Post Ipsos poll. And I think that is the reason why you see that when it comes to Musk and DOGE, you see, in fact, the majority believe he should have some influence because they believe, the plurality believe, that he is cutting wasteful spending, not necessary programs that Democrats are arguing.
Tomato, tomato. I do like Dusk and Moj, though. I think we need to keep that around. But the definition of wasteful is, I think, what is really starting to come into play.
Correct.
What people, necessary to one is wasteful to another. We are seeing that and finding that. How are Americans feeling about the size of the government?
Yeah, so what is exactly going on here? What is sort of driving these numbers underneath? Government is doing too much or too little. Back in 2020, when Trump lost re-election, 54% said too little. By the time he won re-election in 2024, look at that. Too much won the majority at 55%. It was the inverse. So I think there's this real push from the American public to want spending at the U.S. government to drop. And I think that's part of the reason why they're giving Musk and DOGE that majority, at least at this point, when it comes to his influence over federal government
They're giving
spending.
him running room on this, but that's why I think these numbers show why transparency and what is actually being done and why the problems of they've made mistakes and putting things up on their wall of receipts that didn't actually happen or not, why that is so important and critical.
I think that's exactly right. We'll have to wait and see what happens. What's popular one moment may not be the next. We'll see.
Could change quickly. Good to see you, Harry. Thank you.
然后，那当然说到伊隆马斯克，就不得不提到前2天高院的一个裁决哈，5-4就裁决说联邦下级法院的一个法官的冻结的禁令，高院以5-4支持了他，所以很多人就哗然，就说啊，难道我们要把这马斯克冻结的，不管是浪费还是欺诈的这个20亿美金付出去吗？因为下级法官是一个穆斯林哈，他不仅是一个穆斯林，而且他是一个双重国籍的，他是加拿大和美国双重国籍的人，他现在还保有加拿大的身份，所以他以一个低级联邦法官的身份就冻结了川普总统的命令哈，非常非常的可恶。所以不仅是很多法学专家在说，那任何一个法官都可以挑战川普的宪法第2条的这个总统权利，不仅是他的权利，而且是他的义务，要去防止国家的财务的浪费欺诈。那如果是这样的话，那你司法就在干涉我们行政权利嘛。美国是个三权分立的国家哈，不是说你法官不可以挑战，而是说高院也要支持。现在很多人左派看到希望，说你看高院保守派的大法官都支持了这个下级法官哈，其实事情不是那么简单的，我想给大家解释一下哈。就高院的他这个裁决5-4哈，有 Justice Roberts 和 Amy Barrett 就站到了自由派一边哈，支持下级法院的行为，但是下级法院我发回去重审，你必须要解释清楚，到底你限制了总统什么权利？那总统有权利做什么，没有权利做什么？你必须要解释清楚哈。所以这其实还是一个悬而未决的案子，看起来好像是高院已经判了哈。所以现在的程序就是下级法院必须要重审。那你要告诉高院你怎么想的？那川普总统有什么权利做什么事？实际上就一巴掌打回去了。打回去的最终的结果就是说，他们必须要告诉高院，他们认为川普总统有什么权利，他们认为川普总统有什么权利，你就必须看宪法第2条。所以实际上高院我不觉得这是一个非常败诉的一个案子哈，而是高院一个比较审慎的做法。罗维斯大法官一直是不喜欢川普的，在前天晚上的这个川普的国情咨文的演讲上，川普主动的上前跟他握了手，而且一再的说 Thank you Thank you， 说谢谢你谢谢你，我会忘记你哈。
Thank you very much, great job. Thank you. Great honor. Thank you very much. Thank you. Get this place going, all right? Thank you. It's a great honor. Thank you. Thank you, President. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. See you soon. Teaching young people to world America. Well, I'm trying to. Great guy. Thank you. That's your favorite. Thank you. Thank you very much. much. Appreciate it. Howard, thank you again. Thank you again. Won't forget.
So good. Yeah, it's good. So good, sir.
Thank you.
Terrific, Mr. Really terrific. Really outstanding. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Good job, Mr. President. Thanks.
We got you.
Great.
那很多人就在猜测说，我会忘记你是什么事。很多人就说，哎，就是说川普的 immunity case，I don't think so。因为 immunity case 的话，高院9个大法官齐齐判决川普在执行公务的时候有他的豁免权哈，所以这个我觉得不是谢谢这件事哈，我觉得反而是在说他正是在这个案子上，其实之前在这个5-4的判决前天出来之前的前几天，首席大法官罗伯茨就关闭了阿里法官的这个冻结，所以 Michael Davis 非常乐观，他说那这个案子最后到高院来讲，高院还是会支持川普总统的，所以他说这20亿也不会现在就付出去的，因为你付款也有一个过程的嘛，不是说我现在要你付款你马上要付款，还有流程要走呢，所以那川普会再进一步上诉哈，如果下级法院法官再明确的指出川普有哪些权利之后，我们可以看一下 Michael Davis 的原话哈。
Break it down for our audience. Why is this ruling big, and is this going to impact the real deal about actually making cuts to the federal budget, sir?
I think this ruling, this 5-4 ruling last night where the Chief Justice John Roberts and Justice Amy Coney Barrett joined the 3 liberals, I don't think it was a monumental shift. I think it showed that Justice Barrett and the Chief Justice exhibited cowardice because it is very clear that the President of the United States under Article 2 of our Constitution has the executive power, right? And President Trump campaigned on the facts that he's going to hire Elon Musk, set up the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, and root out waste, fraud, and abuse. And that is President Trump's not only constitutional power, it's his constitutional duty under Article 2 of the Constitution, because he has to take care that our laws are faithfully executed. And that includes making sure.
But hang on, slow down. We've talked about this for months. You identified the 2 weak links in the chain months ago. You actually said President Trump, and even I took your guidance instead of being a fire breather, said, hey, if one of these federal judges does something, you got to comply. Just don't blow it off because you'll freak out ACB and Roberts will go the other way. So you identified it early on. But aren't they saying that, hey, look, I hear everything you're talking about, Mike, and Elon's great and everything like that, but I'm going to go to Article 1. And if you guys got a problem with spending, if you want to cut budgets, it's called the appropriations process. And that's very specific. That's in the House, right? And then somehow in a conference, they got to work it out. And then you either veto the whole bill or you get your people involved and you negotiate. We're not going to let you make up a new rule, impoundment. We're not going to let you make up a new rule, rescission, and after the fact, essentially get what is basically a line item veto. Is that not what they're indicating, that they're just not going to get in the middle of this mess? Sir?
I don't know if I would read that much into it. I think this was a very chiefy order last night where the chief wanted to split the baby and think that he's protecting the court's legitimacy, meaning his own reputation. And he thought that by trying to give the judge another opportunity to not be so crazy in this matter, I think that I think that could have been what the chief was trying to do here, is let this Judge Ali, this radical Biden judge on the D.C. District Court, who is a dual citizen of Canada. By the way, he's still a citizen of Canada, and he's ruled that the president somehow does not have power under Article 2 of the Constitution to root out waste, fraud, and abuse, and the president somehow does not have power under the Commander-in-Chief Clause to make sure that foreign aid is not going to, for example, Hamas to kill Americans abroad. But what I think is going to happen here is the Supreme Court has told this Judge Ali that he needs to be more specific in his next order, where he very specifically tells the Trump administration what they can and cannot do. And then I think what's going to happen is you're going to see the Trump Justice Department appeal this again through the process. Maybe Judge Ali will take the hint that you're not going to hold the Trump Justice Department in contempt if they can't comply with your ridiculous order within 24 hours. And I'm thinking that the Chief Justice and Justice Amy Coney Barrett, who's scared of her own shadow, is trying to diffuse this situation, and hopefully this Judge Ali will let a cooler head prevail here and not threaten to hold the Trump administration in contempt with an unreasonable deadline, right? And we'll see. What I think is going to happen, I think this is very naive on the Supreme Court's part, because I think the Chief Justice and Justice Barrett mistakenly think that this is a reasonable judge instead of a radical Marxist.
So just to make sure everybody understands it, this is still in process, right? This is going to be relitigated. We're going to see more of this. This will eventually get back up to the Supreme Court in some more organized and maybe broader context.
Yeah, if this Judge Ali and these Democrats think that the Trump administration is going to cut a $2 billion check because of this Supreme Court ruling, they're out of their minds. You're not going to see a penny dispersed from USAID after this Supreme Court ruling. This is going to go back to Judge Ali.
Wow.
It's going to go back to Judge Ali.
Oh, wow.
Judge Ali's going to have to very clearly say what the Trump administration can and can't do, and then the Trump administration will appeal again. So I think that the left is overreading the Supreme Court's order last night or this morning, and I think what you're going to see is not a penny will be spent from the Trump administration based upon that Supreme Court order. This is going to go back down to this radical Obama Judge Ali, the first Muslim and Arab on the D.C. federal court, as he brags, this Canadian citizen who's on the D.C. federal court. It's going to go back to Judge Ali, and he's got, as the Supreme Court made very clear, Judge Ali has to make a very clear ruling, and then he has to give the government sufficient time. It can't just be write a check for $2 billion in the next 24 hours or we're putting you in jail, because this Judge Ali is a buffoon. He's this new 39-year-old judge who got confirmed in the lame duck session. And so then Judge Ali is a radical Marxist, and so he's going to make an unreasonable ruling again, and this is going to be appealed again up the chain, probably to the Supreme Court. And I think that the Chief Justice and Justice Barrett may come to their senses by the time that happens again.
Let me just play. This is a 10-second clip, and I think from the way this is positioned, this is President Trump leaving. So it's Amy Coney Barrett after she heard the historic speech. It might have been reversed on tape, but I think this is after the speech, President Trump leaving. Let's go ahead and play it. It's about an 8-second clip, no sound. Let's go ahead and play it for our audience. Okay, right there. Mike Davis, that's about as close to guy as you can get. That's not a happy, I've had a couple of my ex-wives look at me like that. That is not a look of admiration and what a great speech and what a magnificent president. I think they went back and did the ruling afterwards. How can we depend? I mean, come on, man. Are we going to lose these 5-4? Everything's going to hang on these decisions that are going to take place over the next 6 months. And we have monumental decisions are going to come on the emergency docket of the Supreme Court because, hey, vote. And these guys, the people in the Justice Department, you're one of the architects of this. You guys are pushing the edge here, right? This is all gas, no brakes. And it's going to depend on, at the end of the day, Roberts and Amy Coney, Barrett, thinking like conservatives think. Is it not, sir?
Well, I think that you need to have Supreme Court justices who are bold, who are fearless, and who will follow the Constitution. And they don't care about what the Chevy Chase Country Club crowd thinks about your rulings, right? Or you don't care about what the, other moms at your Catholic school PTA think about your rulings. Your job is to follow the Constitution. And if you can't do that, if you're fearful that protesters are going to come murder you in your home, if that's going to make you change your opinion, then you should probably go look for a different job, right? If you're not going to be bold and fearless.
But Mike, I got that. But isn't she the flower of the Federalist Society? Wasn't she promoted by the leadership of the Federalist Society? Isn't this supposedly the best we got, sir?
Yeah, I mean, I would say this about Justice Amy Coney Barrett. I've always said this. She's a rattled law professor with her head up her ass. And she needs to understand that she is a Supreme Court justice. She's not at Notre Dame law school anymore. She's not at she's at the Supreme Court. She's not on the B team anymore, right? So she has to step up, and she needs to make sure she understands that she is a justice, right? And she needs to follow the Constitution. And sometimes that's uncomfortable. Sometimes it's uncomfortable to have to slap down a Marxist Canadian judge on the D.C. District Court who's trying to sabotage the President of the United States when he's exercising his core Article 2 powers as Commander-in-Chief and Chief Executive Officer. And so, it's not a pleasant job sometimes. Sometimes people show up outside of your house and maybe they make you nervous with your 25 kids, but you still have to follow the Constitution. And if you can't do that, go back to Notre Dame.
OK， 这是今天对高院判决的一个解读，希望对您有帮助。OK， 这是今天的播报，感谢您的收看，加油！